How's it going, everybody? This is Awais back with another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you a software called Jira. If you're a programmer, software developer, software engineer, you probably have heard of Jira. It's an industry standard for all the project management related to software. Now in this video, I'm going to be showing you my workflow and also how bigger companies use Jira to manage the project. I've been using Jira for a long time and I really like the software. This video is going to be for anybody who are willing to work in a company who uses Jira and want to learn Jira. Also, if you're a freelancer, this video is going to help you big time. I'm going to show you how I manage my projects and how you can manage project. Jira is free up to 10 users. So if you are working independently, then don't worry, this software is free for you and it's great. It's got all the options that is required to manage any kind of software development project. Before we start, if you like the video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Okay, so let's get started with Jira. You need to go to this website, Atlassian.com. So Atlassian is a creator of Jira. Once you get to that website, you need to click on Try Now to be able to sign up. I've already created an account. Creating an account is pretty simple. So what I'll do, click on a login, and then I will simply click on Continue with Google. And once I'm logged in, then it will take me to the dashboard. As you can see, Bitbucket is created by Atlassian as well and a Jira software. I've already used this account, that's why you're seeing some sort of work done or viewed. Don't worry about that, you will only see your products. This is basically your account dashboard. You can access to your Jira software, Bitbucket, you can access Jira Service Desk. Also, if you want to do some administration on your account, you can click on this. There's a Atlassian community as well. Here you see one of the projects that I was working on. So this is basically my account dashboard. Now you can click on this button here, which basically lets you switch between Jira software and Bitbucket as well. Let's click on Jira software. This is your dashboard for all the projects. Right on the top, we have some sort of menu bar for your Jira software. Here you can access dashboard, you can access all the people that you are part of, or there's a team, so you can access there as well. There are some apps available for Jira. You can click on that to go to the apps. You can click on your work, which will show you some of the tasks that you're working on or your upcoming task. What we are interested in creating a new project and setting it up first. Before we set up a new project, I want to point out this menu here. You can access your account settings. You can access your profile. Also, there's a settings for Jira. For example, user management, so you want to add other people's to your Jira account, up to 10. It's free. You can bring in your friends or co-workers up to 10 and then work on a project using Jira. You can access your billing, system, products, projects. So basically, this is your Jira setting. You can access them by clicking on any of the options. Let's get started by creating a new project. So you notice there's a button called Create Project. I'm going to simply click on that, and that will take me to choose a type of project. Here, it is very important that you understand these options. In this page, you need to choose a type of project you are creating. Here we have two types of project, classic project and next gen project. This is very important to understand what are the difference between these two projects. I want to start by creating a classic project. Also, I'm going to read this passage here. It says, classic project represent what Jira software has always been known for and are there for a long time for Jira fans. Now, this is a new, let's say, next gen project that they're building. It could have a different options or new features they want to bring in. So what we try to understand is, first of all, the basics of Jira. Now here we're going to take a look at what are the features available for classic project. So here you can create roadmaps on new next gen projects, but you can't create them on a classic project. Advanced roadmap, it's premium only, which means being a free user, you cannot use it. Card layout customizations there, reports, 20 plus reports there, estimation, workflow editor, parallel sprints, detailed permission, cross project setup, and quick filters. So all of these options are more than enough for anybody who just starting out with project management, or if you are building a mobile app and you want to manage that, these options are more than enough. Remember, this software is being used by enterprise level companies, like huge companies use Jira. Okay, so what we need to do is create a new classic project. I'm going to name the project Financify. Okay, so this is just the project name that I'm giving it. I might work on this application later, but I'm gonna just set up some groundwork for this project. You need to choose a type of a template. Now I'm gonna click on a change template. Here you have a Kanban, Scrum, bug tracking. Kanban and Scrum are very famous. They are basically workflows, how teams or individual manage their project. We got Kanban, which is very simple. Basically, you have a backlog that you create stories, tasks, or bugs, and then you drag them from Kanban backlog to ready for development and then follow the process. Scrum is another type of workflow that teams, individuals follow. It's basically more organized. You have to plan your work before you're going to start working on it. Usually people do a sprint in Scrum that can be 1 week or 2 weeks, and you continue with your sprint. All the tasks are pre-planned, and then that goes to backlog, and from backlog you move your task into a sprint. You start a sprint, you say it's going to be 2 weeks. You have to achieve those tasks within that sprint, which basically gives you a lot of reports. But for individuals, Kanban is much simpler because you're the only one doing the work. All you do is just write your work into backlog, move them for development, and then progress it to finish that. We're going to select Kanban for this tutorial. I'm going to click on create, and don't worry, you can always change this Kanban board to Scrum boards as well. At the left, you see the side menu bar here. You can access issues, components, code. So basically, these are all the menus that we're going to talk about. We can see we are in a Kanban board. Okay, so what is a Kanban board? Basically, there's a backlog that you are going to work on. This section will tell you if the task is selected for development, and if anybody working on that particular task, they will move that task into in progress, and then once they finish, it goes to done. So basically, this is a simple workflow that Kanban board offers. With Jira, you can always customize this as well, but let's not do that now. Let's take a look at how do we create tasks. In our Kanban board, I am going to create a new task. Here's a create button right on the top here. Simple. Okay, I'm going to click on the create, and now it says select the project. So right now I have 2 projects. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I select Financify, and then there's a type of issue that I'm trying to create. I'm going to click on this question mark, which will bring me this website, and I'm going to read something like this bit. Let me just full screen this as well. And here it says there are 4 regular issues. We have a story, we have a task, we have a bug, we have an epic. It's pretty simple. Just read this bit and you will understand what are the difference between story, task, bug, and epic. This video is going to teach you Jira, not the project, not the actual, Agile or Scrum or Kanban, and how these workflow works. This requires a lot more, time to explain. So we have a story, which basically is very simple. It's a functionality or a feature expressed as a user goal. A task is basically when you're creating it, you gotta make sure it's just like a small task, a piece of work that you have to do. A bug is something that you have developed a software, it goes to the production, and the user comes up with the problem in the software, and that we can call as a bug. Epic, it's a collection of related bug stories and tasks. We have priority levels that we can set in Jira. We have some status. So we've already seen backlog. in progress, we've seen backlog in progress, and also we've seen done and then selected for development. Okay, so go through these, you will understand what are these, and it's pretty simple to actually understand them anyway. A story, I like to say design. Then you can attach files to your issue. So you can drop them from your computer, or you can attach them, by clicking on this browse button, and then you can access Dropbox, Google Drive, or you could simply upload from your computer. So pretty straightforward stuff. Next, we have a description area where you can write the summary of your task or any kind of information in text that you need to achieve that task. For the description area, you can use these text formatting options like bold, italic, underline. You can also do a lot more. Go through these options, and if you've ever used Microsoft Word, you will be familiar with these options. Here we need to define who it's going to report to. So Jira is obviously a software built for teams, not for independent only. So here you can specify a team member that is working on this project with you. So it will basically report all the issues, all the updates to that particular person as well. Right now, I'm only one that added into this, account, so I can just select myself. If there's any linked issue that you want to assign, you can do that as well. And here you will see the list of issues that you can choose from. Right now, this is what it's showing me from the other project. If you want to automatically assign this task to somebody, you can leave that automatically, and Jira will automatically assign to somebody in your team. Or you can click on assign to me to simply assign to you. You can set the priority as well. I'm going to set that to high. You can also define labels. Labels are really good. It will help you to filter out some of the tasks depending on the label down the road. Now I'm going to simply click on create. And there you go. We have our first issue in the backlog. Now, backlog is basically your starting point from Kanban Board. I'm going to go and create another issue. Let's click on create. So we've got 2 issues now created for me in the backlog assigned to me. Let's work with these 2 issues sitting in a backlog. So let's just say I'm an individual using Jira. What I will do is every morning when I start my day, I will take a look at the backlog and I see, okay, I added these tasks yesterday or a week ago or a month ago. Now let's work on one of the tasks. What I'll do, I'll take a look at, okay, and let's just say I'm willing to work on this task. But what I do is I will first take a look at the priority. So the highest priority ones will come first. This is my workflow, but just to, tell you, you can choose whatever you want. So here you have a title for the task, a description, and then an activity. Right now, because I'm the individual here, I don't have a team added to my account, I can't see really anybody adding in a comment. But if you have a big team, you can basically add comments. I would say work smart, not hard. Save that, and that will basically be a comment from me to me. Okay, on the right you can see the current status of the task, so it's sitting in a backlog. You have assignee, reporter, and label if it's assigned any label, a priority level, and also you have a GitHub integration with Jira. So right now I don't have integration with GitHub, but you can integrate Jira with Bitbucket and GitHub. So it has a lot of third-party tools that you can integrate with as well. Next, we have some option for estimation. So you can basically estimate how many hours or how many minutes or, how much time it will take you to finish this task. This will help you to track down and generate better reports according to your progress. You have a time tracking as well. So I can simply click on this button and I can say, okay, I'm going to spend on this, for example, I don't know, maybe 1 week, I would say. and then time remaining, it basically be according to your estimation. So for example, I would say this should take me 3 hours. Okay, that's my estimation now. I can click on time tracking and I can say total time remaining is 3 hours. I can log here, so how much time I've spent on this. I'll say 30 minutes, and I can say I worked on this task for 30 minutes. Click on save, and now you can see the time tracking has been logged, and you can see according to your estimates how much time you already spent and how much time you have left. You got components and versions, which we're not going to talk about right now, but I'll talk about it later. All right, so I'm going to actually click on this close button, and then what I will do is click and drag this to selected for development. Okay, now once I've selected for development, usually it means that it's ready to go. It has every information that is required to start the development process on it. Usually when the task is in the backlog, people go and write the description, write comments, and make sure everything is listed there, so there's no blocker for it. So once it's selected for development, usually the project managers will move the task from backlog to selected for development, or a person who has access to it, because you can customize Jira the way you want it. You can basically restrict this backlog to be only moved by a couple of people or any specific people. Now, once it's ready for development, what I usually do is when I start working on it, I will click on it and then drag to in progress. Now, right now, that means I'm working on it. And now by looking at this Kanban board, every member of my team can take a look which task Awais is working on by looking at the in progress and see, okay, he's working on this task, and you can click on this and write comments, and I'll get notified for all the comments that I get from my task. Now, once I'm done, what I'll do is move that to done, click on it again, and then I will say, hey, I have spent 2 hours. Okay, task is completed. Click on save, and there we go. So basically this is done, and it's just gonna sit there. Next, we're gonna take a look at some of the side menu now. Click on issues, and you will see pretty much all the issues that are available. So all of the issues created. You can filter issues by key, last viewed, priority, resolved, status, updated. So if I click on the status, I can see this bit is done and this is in the backlog. So let's take a look at this button now. So it's ascending and descending. You can click on refresh to refresh this, and then you have some filters. So you got this status, right? I'm going to click on unassigned only, apply that, and I won't see any issues here because there is no issue which is unassigned. I'm going to click on current user and then uncheck unassigned, and I'll see both the issues. Then I can see who the issues which are reported to me. For example, if I say current user, so I'll only see the issues which are going to be reported to me. You got the status filter as well. You've got this type. So there are like 4 types that we already talked about: bugs, epic, stories, and tasks. You can filter according to that. So if I select task only, you won't see because we only had 2 stories, not the task. Okay, you can click on this clear all button, and then this basically resets the filter. You click on the advanced search. Advanced search is something that will give you more options. You can take a look at how many options are available here. You know, it's just the usability, guys. It's not really hard. Okay, so now let's go take a look at some of the menu in the options, in the issues actually. So you can click on my open issues. It'll basically show me all of the issues from all the projects because I'm in advanced search right now. So I'm not only seeing the Financify project, I'm seeing the whole project. So you see, these are all the issues that are sitting here. So issues reported by me, I can see all the issues here, all issues. So these are all the issues, open issues, done issues. So done issue is going to be a lot. And the recent one was we actually moved this integrate passport library. That's like right on the top. I can do ascending or descending here as well. Viewed recently, created recently, resolved recently. So these are all the filters that you can use to filter your project. Right now you can see we're in a filter menu. I'm going to go back to project, click on Financify, and it'll take me back to this dashboard of the Kanban. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at this component. A component is something that are subdirectory of your project. So let me read this bit. It says components are subsections of a project. Use them to group issues within a project into smaller parts. So what I'm going to do now is create a new component. Click on that, and I'm going to name this as Backend. And I'm going to say all the backend work. Then you can select the person who's going to lead this component. For example, if you have other team members that are going to be a lead for this backend, you can select them. Right now, nobody's here, so that's why I can't select anybody. Default assignee, so we can select that to unassign. So anything that is created within this component will by default to set to unassign. Or you can select project lead or project default. I'm going to select project default. Click on save, and there we go. We got a component created. I'm going to go and create a component called front end. Click on save, and you got two components. Next component, I'm going to create an app. So we've got three components now. Let's go back to Kanban Board. I'm going to click on create, and then I'm going to create a task. Now you get to see a component. Select and then see what is this about. Is this the backend component, front-end component, or app component? I'm going to say this is going to be done on the backend. You can select more than one component here as well, just to mention. And now you will see we get another task in the backlog. So now this is assigned to that particular component. You would basically be able to filter by component as well. I'm going to click on the component now, and I'm going to go to backend. Once I click on a backend, you will see all of the tasks which are created in this component. And now it's easier to manage three different aspects of a project. So backend, front end, and app, the three things, right? Usually when you create a full-fledged application. So I've got that. I'm going to go back to Project Financify. I'm going to move all of these tasks to backlog. Now you can see there is no restriction. I can move them to done, or I can move them back to backlog. You can customize this Kanban, and then you can also restrict with the workflow here. We have this three dots here, which will give me this board setting, and I can do all kind of customization here. Now this would be out of scope of this video. I will make another video to show you how you can restrict the workflow in a Kanban board. Now just to show you guys, here is like 4 sections of your Kanban board. You can add more columns, or you can add more statuses to it as well. So let's go back. Next, we are going to learn in Jira how do we manage releases. If you take a look at side menu, you have releases. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to read this bit. Versions help you package and schedule project deliveries. Add a version to start collecting and releasing your work. For example, for this Financify project, I'm going to do release 1.0. So I'll click on create button, and I will say version 1.0, and I'm going to say I'm starting today, and I'm expecting this to be released in about a month. Let's click on save. We have a release version 1.0. Let's go back to Kanban board, and I'm going to assign one of the tasks to this release. So let's click on that, and on the right, if you click on this show option, go down, and we can select release version 1.0 there. Now this way, this will be assigned to release 1.0. Creating a release is one of the basic things that you do in Jira, because if you work in a company, they are going to create a release and then assign the task to the release. So when the time comes in, for example, we just mentioned that this release is going to go in about a month, I will filter all the tasks which were supposed to go to this release, and I can go to my team member saying, hey, why this is not finished? This is going to go into this release, hurry up. So that's why all the companies use Jira. They create versions, so release versions. It's one of the basic things that you do in Jira. So now you know how to create a release and then assign the task to that particular release. Next, we're going to take a look at Pages. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you what are the features available in Pages. So there's a third tool created by Atlassian, which called Confluence, and that's what it is. So in Pages, I'm going to read this bit. She says, here are some templates to get you started on that masterpiece. Now that's fine, but what if I create on blank page? I click on that and you will notice it says project pages are powered by Confluence, which means it's not free. So it says try Confluence free for 30 days. That's why I'm not going to show you this, because this is like a paid version, not free, and you won't be able to use that unless you pay for Confluence. It's like a separate tool. So just a quick note on this, it's really helpful to manage all kind of documents related to the project into one place, and this is what the Confluence does. It says one place for all your project docs, create, share, collaborate on the project docs in one place with Confluence Pages. Now, many people would like to use this because sometimes they have a Microsoft subscription or Google Docs to do all kind of things, but this is really good. I've used this previously. When I was working in a company, they had a paid version of Confluence, and it was really good. It was really helpful to see all kind of documents just being in one place. Now, if you're interested, you can give it a shot and then let me know how you feel about it. Next, we got add item option there. So this one that I'm talking about, I'm going to click on that. And this is another great option. I really like it. So what it basically does, it creates the shortcut. So let's just say you are using Jira, but your repository is sitting in a GitHub or repository is sitting in somewhere else, or you want to have some sort of documentation that you can access by clicking on the link. What you can do is you can add a link to a frequently used resource. It can be a video, website, or documentation, any kind of link you can add here, which will basically be a quick way to access it. Next thing, we have repository. So it says add a Bitbucket or GitHub repository to show information about branches, commits, and pull requests. So Jira is great. If you have a Bitbucket or GitHub that's being used for your repository, you can link them here, and that will give you an option to view their commits, branches, and pull requests. Really handy. Pages, again, this is a Confluence that basically is paid. I won't be able to show you that. So you can go ahead and then add a link. For example, I have a repository for this project. I can click on here and I will say, GitHub link here, and then I will just name that. I'm not going to add that right now because I don't want to show the link for that repository, but you can add links here. Next, we are going to take a look at some of the project settings before we wrap up with our reports. So let's click on project settings. Here you can change the name of your project, change the name of your key, a URL. You have a project type as set to software, category, and you can also write a lot of description about your project. Okay, very simple. People. Now, this is particularly the people that will be part of your Atlassian account, not this project. So let's just say a company buy the Jira software, they have like 10 different projects. They don't want to have everybody involved in all the projects. So what they will do is they will add them to the Atlassian account, and then they will be able to see them here, and then you can add them here. You can also define roles here. We haven't talked about roles. Jira is great. You can set a role: administrator, manager, product manager, senior developer, or junior developer, and then you can assign them some capabilities as well. that would come in the next video of this series. So we got some automation. We have a summary. Let it load the automation. So here there's a lot of rules that you can define, which will require a separate video because it's going to take a long time to explain. There's a lot of things here. We got summary. Okay, now here is a summary. It basically some sort of help for you guys here about, bugs, stories, tasks. Will tell you what are the components here, what are the roles, how many people are working here, who is a project lead for this particular project. You got some screens, settings, so a lot of good information here. We got some issue types, issue layouts. Now let's just say these types are default, okay, created by Jira. What you can do is you can assign some sort of workflow here. This will require a separate video as well. I'm not going to go into this, but this is highly customizable. Okay, issue layout. You can click on edit layout. You can, add a description to a particular layout. You can also do a lot of customization here, guys. I'm not going to show you in this video because it's just a quick workshop for using how to get started with Jira. Next, we got workflows. This is one of the most important thing in Jira because you can actually design your workflow according to the way you want it. So here you can see a diagram telling you how the workflow is behaving. So from backlog, you can go to done, you can go to in progress. So you can customize this bit. I'm going to click on close button. If you want to customize your workflow scheme, you can simply click on this actions button. I'm going to click on it and that will take me to this page. Here you can see I can drag and move these. I can also hover over and that will give me these little circles here. So there's a circle. Now I'm going to call them pivot points, where basically you can click and then create another line. For example, click on it, create a line and then attach to this bit. Here you'll say add transition and then you'll say new transition or reuse the transition. So there's a lot of things that you can do. I'm not going to do this in this video. This is going to require a separate video for that. Next, we got this workflow schemes. Right now I am using this default scheme. I can create different schemes for different projects or different scheme for even different components. So there's a lot of customization available here. In the settings menu, we got screens, screen schemes, and an issue type screen scheme. So that would require another video as well. We got a lot of custom fields, issue features, and attributes. So there's a lot of settings available here. I would highly recommend to go through these settings and see what is useful to you. I'm going to go back to the project. And the last thing in this video I'm going to be showing you would be reports. Reports are really good. It's sometimes hard to understand when you're just getting started, and it's hard to figure out why this report is so useful. One of the main report I want to show you would be this resolution time report, which basically tells you how much time it took a developer to complete a particular task. Also, there are other reports available as well, like in pie charts. You got created versus results, average age report. So there's a lot of things. I'm going to be creating more videos on Jira, so I would highly recommend to subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, give this video a thumbs up, guys. I'm almost reaching to 100K, and I would like to say thank you so much for that. Now you can see at this stage you've understand the basics of Jira, how to get started with Kanban Board actually, and how to create issues, components, releases. I've shown you some of the project setting, and I think this should be enough to get you up and running with Jira. There's going to be a lot more videos about Jira in the future, so make sure you subscribe. And if you do like the video and you want to help me out by donating, there's a PayPal link in the description of the video, and you can help me out if you want to, because these videos taking a lot of time to create, and every penny would help. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next Jira tutorial video. Cheers.